And you can tell that there is no other constructive move for white here. So all position is a draw. Black must play king g8. This is the only move that will get you desired result. So this will more or less, I should say more rather than less, complete king and pawn versus king positions. One simple addition to this will be the rook pawn. You know, if your king stands in front of rook pawn, then white in the position where king g4, pawn h4, and black king on h8. Now here are no rules, no oppositions. You just stay in the corner. F pawn and pawn will never go through. Just if you go king g8, king h8 without knowing any rules, you just will get where you want to get. Now this will conclude in all entirety the king and pawn versus king. Just know this one opposition rule and you are all set. You will know this king and pawn versus king position just as well in 15 or 20 minutes of study as best chess player in the world. So that's all you need to know. Now, different endgames, in order for you to master, a little more difficult. This is the basic of king and pawn ending. Now, there are some strategic rules in king and pawn endings once we're going to start discussing in a moment. So there are a few interesting, important patterns we have to know about pawn endings besides the opposition. First one we will talk about is a breakthrough. Here is the position. White's king on d4 and pawns f4, g5, h6, and black's king on d6, pawns h7, g6. This is white to move. Now, what should white do here? There are ways to play for. Let's try the opposition. King e4, king e6 is not going to work. King e3, but do we have to think here in terms of opposition? No, because white may win the opposition, but they will not win the game. On king e4, black even can play king e7, and this is already a draw. Because whatever white tries, king e5, black goes king f7, king d6, king g8, and white is hiding, black is hiding with king on h8. And white will never be able to make progress. Even if they try f5, then g takes f. In order for white to get past pawn, they have to give f and g pawns for black's h and g pawns. f5, gf, king takes f5, and then g6, hg, king takes g6, and white will be left with only h pawn, and we know it's a draw. However, white can win in a start position we have by playing f5 right away before black's king gets to the corner. And here black is helpless. That's what we call breakthrough. After f5, if black takes g takes f, white sacrifices second pawn, goes g6. And now white is threatening g takes h and the queen, and if black takes h takes g, then white goes h7 and is queening next move. So this simple pattern called breakthrough. There are little more complicated ways for breakthrough. Let's get, for example, the oldest one and the most famous breakthrough where white has pawns on a5, b5, c5, and black has pawns on a7, b7, c7, with white king on g3 and black's king on g5. It looks like white is in trouble, because if both kings move towards pawns, black king is going to eat all these pawns up. However, it's white's move, and white wins by playing b6. And now black has to take on b6 one way or the other. If black goes a takes b, then white wins after c6, and after b takes c, a6. So the same pattern works if black takes c takes b. Then white goes a6, b takes a, c6, and white wins the same way. Those are the similar ideas with different execution. But the idea is a breakthrough with pawns. Remember, breakthrough is possible only when the side has 3 or more pawns connected. Well, with 2 pawns, there is no breakthrough, as you see. With 2 pawns each, if we take c pawns off the board, you will see that there is no breakthrough. Okay, now getting back to breakthrough rule, we can tell that this is most of the time one-time opportunity. You may have no more than one chance for breakthrough in the end game, and you have to catch when you have it and to execute it. Same thing if you playing for the other side, opposite side, you make sure you don't allow this breakthrough which can affect the game. So the very important rule here and very important pattern is an outside passed pawn. Okay, let's get this position. White king on d4 and white pawns on b4, g3, h3. Black king on d6 and pawns on f6, g6, h6. Does not really matter in this position whose move is it. Position is winning for white. Why is it winning? Because white has a passed pawn on b4. Does that mean that we're going to queen this pawn? Or not at all? It will be impossible for us to queen this pawn. But we will win with white this position every time if we play correctly. It doesn't really matter how black plays. We will push this pawn as far as we can to distract black's king to decoy. This is going to be decoy pawn, and then penetrate with white's king to the king side. Let's see how it looks. Suppose it's white's move. We will play b5. Suppose black plays h5. Waiting move. Now here what we do is we sacrifice our b pawn. This is thematic pattern. And we go b6. Now black goes king c6. Now we go b7. Black has to take king takes b7. And now we play king d5 with white. And you can see that we win without any problem because we penetrate king e6. And then we're going to totally clean out black's king side. After king e6, we can win all 3 black's pawns. So that's how we used our outside pass pawn. Now this is very simple, very thematic, and works almost every time. The big